recently, DMC from Run DMC, he was in a video. I just recently seen a video with him, and he was talking about hip hop today, and he was calling for rap fans and rappers alike, rappers who the message resonated with. He was calling for a change, and I wanted to do a response video because I've been talking about this for a while now, and I don't think specifically this is for black people. We're just gonna be honest. This is, if you white, you could listen to this. I don't, cool, you know what I mean. But this is specifically for black people, because I don't think they understand this. I think the rest of the world understands this, but I don't think black people specifically understand this. See, what you have to understand is music, food, the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you process things mentally. That is your culture. And it's interesting because that's been a big word amongst hip hop, since the Migos, culture. The name of Cardi B's child is called culture, and I believe the universe speaks in signs and symbols. You understand? So what we have to understand as black people is hip hop is our culture. This is what's being broadcast throughout the world. There are people that live in communities that never met a black person in their life. They never met a black person in their life. And the closest thing to them understanding black culture is music. You understand? So when you listen to, when I used to go, I'm from New York, and in New York it's bodegas on every corner. It's like a damn near, it's a bodega, and you go there, you end up going there so much, to get your roll-ups and get your little 25 cent, well, back in the day it was 25 cent, now it's like $1 bag of chips, get your heroes, get your little Funyuns, whatever you like. And I remember as a kid, I would always go in the bodega and they're playing like, they're playing their Spanish music. They're doing the bachata. Sometimes they did the bachata with me, because, sometimes you just create that bond. You're in the neighborhood, it's family orientated. But what I realize is hip hop is the only musical genre when we constantly talk about killing and shooting each other. Now, I would be lying if I told you I don't listen to Tekashi 6ix9ine. I'd be lying if I told you I don't listen to Chief Keef, if I don't listen to G Herbo. I love all that music. But see, I'm a little bit older and I have the understanding to go, okay, this is just music. I could separate this and go, okay, this is music. I listen to this when I want to turn up. I listen to this when I want to go to the gym. I listen to this when, I just want to get that aggression off, and I'll just allow my whatever aggression I have within inside of me, I'll allow that to speak through the music. I'll live vicariously through that music instead of doing something negative. That's how I look at music. But you have young impressionable children that are growing up in households with no father figure, and your father is your foundation. I don't care what they tell you. If you didn't grow up with a father in your household or some type of guidance, if you're a black man, you were stripped of something very integral in your life. Very integral. Because every young black man needs some type of mentor. He needs somebody to guide him. Everything you learn has been told to you. Think about that. Most of the things that you do is a learned behavior. You was taught your ABCs. You was taught your 1, 2, 3s. Then you was taught the English language. Then you was taught math. Then you was taught science, right? So we have to be taught certain things. And if we're not taught, then life will teach us. And the thing about life is when life teaches you by putting you in jail. And sometimes you don't get the message, and life just puts you in the dirt and makes you start all over, But you have to understand, hip hop is it's broadcast throughout the world as black culture. So when I'm an Asian man, you know, or I'm growing up in Vietnam, and I just know about Asian culture. I know, you know, my family does this. I know this is the type of music we listen to. And then I see black guys. Wow, man, these guys are talking about a lot of killing and shooting. These guys really have disdain for each other. You understand? Not, and we all understand there's complexities to hip hop. We understand that, but you have to understand the overall message that's being sent throughout the world. The overall message being sent throughout to be honest with you, from what I read, from what I know as a person who you know, who likes to read about psychology and philosophy and, you know, and you know, anthropology, and, you know, I would think black people hate themselves. I would think that, because the music is constantly degrading yourself. It's not uplifting you, you know. And I remember Eazy-E. There's this clip on Instagram where Jada Pinkett is like, she's like, you know, Eazy-E, I know I love you, brother. I love what you're doing with your music, the NWA, but I want you to make music that makes me feel good. And I was like, wow, that shit really, that brought shockwaves to my body, man. Like, wow, where's the woman like that now? You know? Because it was so true. And she was saying, I was like, what? Was that in the 80s? Wow, man. That shows you. That's why them kids are so fucking smart, man. Because look where they're coming from. Will and Jada both fucking legends and geniuses in their own right. But not to get off a topic, we have to understand that this is very important, man. And if you care, you know, you know, do what Nas did. You know, if you listen to this and you're a rap artist, do what Nas did. Nas put the medicine within the good shit. You know what I'm saying? He took Flintstone vitamins, crushed them up, and put it in your favorite cereal. That's what Nas did for me growing up as a kid. You know, I remember things Nas said in his interviews. It was certain things he would say in his music, even though he was talking about the hood, and I could relate to that, but it was certain things that he said that affected me subconsciously that I remember to this day. That's how I know hip hop is incredibly powerful, man. Because to this day, I still remember when Nas was going back and forth with Jay-Z, and he did an interview. And I remember Nas said something and it resonated with me. And I was like, wow, man, this brother's smart. He was like, yo, he said the reason he lost is because this is after their battle. And he was like, yo, the reason Jay-Z lost is because you never let your enemy know what you're thinking. He allowed his enemy to know what he was thinking. And in my life, you know, when I got into issues and situations, I never let my enemy know what I was thinking. Understand? So it's like, if that resonated with me as a kid, not being knowledgeable, not necessarily knowing the things I know now, but I'm listening to Nas and I'm hearing Nas and I'm paying attention to Tupac. Tupac, he used to read Sun Tzu's Art of War. You understand? You know? So it's a lot of things. It's a lot of power I think people hold, you know, and sometimes you gotta kind of fuse the ratchetness with as Charlemagne the God says, you have to fuse the ratchetness with the righteousness, and that would just be my advice to people, because I don't know if we could just come out and just have a guy. Because what he said was genius. In the video, he was saying we need a guy who thinks like KRS-One, but looks like Drake. A guy who looks like the Migos, but thinks like Public Enemy. You know, we need those type of individuals. And I was like, wow, that would be super dope. You know, if I was a kid looking at that, because the thing about it is, the righteous teachers, they would make the righteous rappers, the righteous artists, they would make dope music. They would make incredible, and it's crazy. He said that without saying this. They would make incredible music, man. But when you looked at them, he was like, I can't really relate to this guy. You know what I mean? I can't. He's wearing like something I wouldn't wear. He kind of looks the way I don't look. So it's hard for you to kind of relate to that guy. But a guy like Drake, you know, maybe a guy like the Migos, they look more like the populace. They look more like the people they're speaking to. So that's just my add-on. I call it my little add-on to, you know, what DMC was talking about as far as today's hip-hop. He's right, man. He's right, man. The music is extremely impressionable. It's extremely impressionable. Listen, man. I remember being in clubs and that Annie Up with Remy Ma and MOP would come on. Dudes would literally leave the club. They would literally leave the club like, oh shit, something gonna pop off. That's how strong music is, man. That's how strong it is. They said, we out of here. Something going down. I remember that, man. And sometimes nothing would happen. Sometimes people end up fist fights. You know, things happen. You know. But he's right. I think he's right. We do need an influx of more of these kind of Kendrick Lamar type of artists, these kind of Chance the Rapper type of artists, you know, the J. Cole's and you know, the Wale's. We do. We need an influx. We need a barrage of that music. We need to pound that type of music in the minds of the youth. We do, man. We do. We do. We definitely do, because, you know, at what he was saying in the video is a lot. You got a lot of artists trying to be somebody they're not. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to put nobody on blast. But just being a guy that understood the streets, you know, that was around street guys, you know, that was around guys that was living that life. I understood that I could kind of just look at some guys and I'm like, that's not who he is. I could just look at them, man. You know, you got people that have spoken to Plies talking about, yo, man, Plies is a fucking, when you get Plies on the side, he sound like a Harvard student. You understand? You got people that say, when you get this guy to the side, man, this guy's intelligent, these guys are intelligent. But for some reason, we have this mentality when we feel like we have to dumb down ourselves to be more palatable to the masses. And unfortunately, you know, there's some truth to that, but it can change. I think it can change, and I think what he said was dope, man. I think what he was saying made a lot of sense. And I think a lot of people need to take heed to his message and watch the video over and over and really understand it. Because we gotta be real, man. This is your culture. Hip hop culture is black culture. That is your culture. This is your culture. You know how you go to a Asian person's house and they have chopsticks. And you know, they have chopsticks. And I remember I used to go to my friend's house, and in the Middle East, he wasn't not in the Middle East, but he was Middle East. He was Arabic. You know, he's Middle Eastern, and he was Muslim, and it was a certain way he did things. You know, it's certain way certain foods he would eat and certain foods he didn't eat. That's your culture. You understand? But right now, the culture is just, there's no guidelines. Because see, what your culture does is it tells you what you can do and what you can't do. And right now, what hip hop does is say, hey, you could do whatever. You could do whatever. You could smoke drugs. You know what I mean? You could sell drugs. You could kill people. You could disrespect women. You could do whatever you want. It's like a no holds barred kind of thing. And you can't live life like that. The reason why we have laws is because if we didn't have laws, people would run frantic. And that's kind of what you have in hip hop. You have people that don't abide by anything. They just kind of go off of impulse, and you can't live life like that. You need structure. You understand? So hip hop needs a father right now. Hip hop is a bastard child right now that needs a father. It's in dying need of a father. It needs somebody to say that people respect. It needs somebody that that everybody respects to say, hey, yo, you know what, man? We need to change this shit, man. Niggas is dying. Like, yo, like if you really caught up with the statistics, I think you would think twice about what's going on. And it's just and hip hop is promoting not having value for yourself, man. And that's what it is. I think that's what I think the problem is. Hip hop promotes not having value for yourself, not thinking of yourself highly and intelligent and as a strong individual, as a person that is an upstanding citizen, and we don't talk about that things. It's not valued, man. Intelligent people should be revered. And if the kids are looking and they say, hey, intelligence is not really revered, but that gun is revered, but that I got that hammer talk for them. That hammer talk, they revere that. That's how the kids think. And you know how I know that's how they think? Because I was them. So I don't know who hears this message. Whoever hears this, take heed, man. Try to do something. Every little bit counts, man. Everything or every word that's spewed throughout the universe is just a fractal wave, just waiting to attach itself to somebody else. So I'm gonna leave it at that. DJ Bring Trucks.